welcome back to Elevation 44. I'm Beverly, or B for short. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today we are diving all into our April astrology report. And I know it's a little late, but I have just returned from traveling. I was in Portugal. So that definitely put me behind on filming and getting this stuff out to you. I wanted to get it out before, but that's just not how it happens. So, we're here now, better late than never. But there's a lot going on in April, and I want to break this report up into two parts because there's just so much going on, and I don't want it to be overwhelming in just one video or one report. So we're gonna break it up into two, and we are gonna go through the things. April is a big pivotal month. We're right in the middle of eclipse season. We're in Aries season. We just kicked off our new year, and we have more eclipse energy coming our way. We have a big conjunction this month, one of the biggest, I would say, things that we're going to be experiencing this year. So there's just a lot to get into. If you're listening on the podcast, shout out to you over on the podcast. And let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So make sure you're subscribed or make sure you're following so that you are going to get the notification when we have part 2 dropping. So let's get right in. All right, so I've got the chart pulled up, and let me go ahead and give you the lay of the land to tell you kind of where the planets are at the start of the month on April 1st. So when we're going into the month of April, we have Mars still moving through Pisces, Saturn still in Pisces, obviously. We have Venus in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, so lots of Piscean energy still happening at the start of the month. We also have a Sun in Aries. We have Chiron in Aries, which has been there for a while. And we have Mercury in Aries. So Aries energy is also getting very prevalent in terms of at the start of the month. And then we have Jupiter and Uranus still in Taurus. So a lot of our energy is concentrated in these 3 signs. And this is going to play out in the themes that we're going to see over the month. So kicking off the start of the month, we have, just to kick off everything, a Mercury retrograde. And like I said, Mercury is moving through the sign of Aries. Now with a Mercury retrograde, retrogrades in short, or just to make it really, really simple for those of you who are new to retrograde energy, is when a planet appears to have stopped its motion and starts spinning backwards. And this is an illusionary thing. It's not actually that the planet's spinning backwards. It's more so our vantage point here on Earth and what it looks like to us. But it is a redirection of energy. And the energy is pulled inward. Usually when planets are in a forward or a direct motion, the energy is being pushed out. It's very external. Retrogrades call the energy back in. So this is a time where we are in more of a review or a reassessment period. It gives us a chance to slow down, just like that backward spinning. It's like, okay, let's take a couple steps back. It's like hitting the rewind button on watching a movie or a video. You're like, okay, I missed that. Let me rewind and come back and review that again because there's something that I didn't get there the first time. And that's what it's asking us to do, especially with Mercury in the sign of Aries. Aries is a very, very fiery, go get 'em, just wants to take just a very action oriented sign. So when Mercury is in Aries, our thinking, our communications, the way we direct is just very like go, like let's take action, let's get it going, let's take initiative. And sometimes that's a good thing, right? We can use that to our advantage to get things off the ground, start things, take risk, do all the things that we need to do and get things done because it gives us that courage to, step out there and do the things. But at the same time, like sometimes we can just jump into things without thinking things fully through. And this is giving us a chance to think things through a little bit deeper, okay? This is also giving us a second chance at doing something. So if there is something that maybe you were procrastinating on, if there is something that you had the opportunity to do before and you passed it up, and now there's an opportunity to address that or do that thing again, this is a time where you have the opportunity to get into that. This is, like I said, it's a time to think about things that you are ready to embark on, new beginnings, because Aries season is all about new beginnings, right? And a lot of times, like when we're ready to initiate something new, we're caught up in the excitement of doing it, but it's like thinking a little bit deeper about what you're actually about to do before you press the button and do it. So it's giving us a chance to go in and just get all that stuff together, all right? And because we can be so impulsive under Aries energy with our communications as well, because that's what Mercury really rules, our processing mentally and our communication, how we communicate with each other. It gives us a chance to slow down and think about not only what we're doing, but what we're saying, how we're approaching things. It can be Aries and Mercury together can be very impulsive and just like kind of no tact. Like it just says the things, it does the things, it thinks the things, it jumps to the conclusions, and it's not always necessarily accurate or tactful, right? In its approach. So it's giving us an opportunity, honestly, to wind down, slow down, wind that back, rewind on the button, right? On the video, play that back and really think about it. Like, is our perspective a little warped? Did we jump to conclusions? Are we speaking out of, while Mercury can be very truthful and blunt in Aries, it also just gives us the opportunity to reassess like what we're saying and how we're saying it, or how we're processing something. So that is a lot of what Mercury retrograde in Aries is going to be bringing us, and it's going to be in retrograde for most of the month through the 24th. So we get to just really slow down, have a seat, go inward, and really, assess the things that we're going after, our goals, the things that we're trying to get off the ground. It also, this Mercury retrograde is going to, at some point, be conjunct Chiron. And with it conjunct Chiron, which is the wounded healer, a lot of our wounds and traumas and different things are kind of coming to the forefront in informing us on why we are kind of held up in certain ways, or how we're stuck in certain patterns or different things like that, and our ability to process and see things from a different perspective and to communicate around the things that we've been through and seeing them as a source of strength, like things that were once limitations to us, or how we perceive things to be in more so like a victim mentality or happening to us. Now we're taking a different view or approach on it, where we are seeing our limitations, our previous limitations, in a completely different light, right? And now you're seeing like, hey, this is actually a source of strength. This is actually a source of accomplishment for me. So there's a lot of that coming up. So with the wounds coming up, traumas coming up for review and coming to the forefront, definitely be easy with yourself with this energy, okay? So that's happening right at the top of the month on April 1st. Now, going into April 4th, we have Venus conjunct Neptune. And these are our two Neptune's very illusionary and dreamy, and Venus can be very lovey-dovey and dreamy as well. So when you have these together, it's a beautiful blend. They're both in Pisces, so it's that creativity, it's that imagination. It's not good energy for focusing on work. It's not about getting things done with this energy at all. It's really about being kind of more in your imagination. This is like daydreamers energy, being in that creativity, just thinking things, like taking yourself to far away journeys in your mind, or even like working on something creative would be a really good use of this energy. It's very romantic, so you could have a lot of like lovey-dovey romance on the brain. You want to, indulge and, do things that feel luxurious to you, that feel relaxing to you. So this is the best use of this energy. So on this day, it's like, just flow with it, The only thing I would caution is just to be careful of overindulging. But if you are, taking care of yourself and just getting into the vibes, it's good. It's good vibes, all right? So moving on to April 5th, we have the sun conjuncting the North Node, okay? And the sun with the North Node, the sun is going to put the spotlight on whatever it's, joining with. And the North Node is our purpose. It is the direction that we should be headed, right? It's what we should be going towards. And this is definitely a powerful time of transformation. For sure. And it's really highlighting that. It's helping us shift our identity. So like we're having an identity shift that is aligning us more with the trajectory that we should be going on. So that could be, your life's purpose. People say different things, for this, but I like to say it as the path forward. It's just aligning you to the path forward, whether it be your purpose or however you want to define it. So you're called with this to change your life in some type of way. And this is really good for assessing, especially since we're under this Mercury retrograde where we're reassessing, reviewing things, just aligning in a way that makes sense. And so making important career choices, because a lot of us and what we're here to provide, to do, how we're supposed to be, our life path or our way forward is very much wrapped up into that. So this is a good time to just be like reviewing that, your career choices, how you're spending your time, and aligning your identity more so with the way forward for you, right? So this is calling us to leave the old behind and embark on the new and on a new journey forward. And we may not press that button. It's probably not wise to press that button until after Mercury gets out of retrograde, but this is the time where we're like seeing like, okay, now it's time for me to move in a different direction. Also happening on April 5th, Venus is moving into Aries, okay? And Venus in Aries is very bold. It's very spicy. It's very adventurous. It's all about the adventure and the chase and the thrill of things. It's a great expression of passion, a time of confidence, risk-taking in matters of love and money. So this is all the vibes that Venus in Aries brings in. Again, it's just caution not to go too overboard, but use some of this energy to your advantage. And if you've been feeling stuck in certain ways, creatively, money-wise, love-wise, this is a good infusion of passion and energy that comes to the forefront. All right, so this is the big one. We have on the 8th of April, the new moon in Aries, which also happens to be a total solar eclipse. All right, and this one is going to pack a punch. I don't know what it is about those total solar eclipses, but man, total solar eclipses, I've tracked and traced every last one of them and over the years, and they really bring in some dramatic change. So this can be a time of dramatic changes. But this particular one, like Aries new moons are a lot about us embarking on a new beginning. And this solar eclipse, which is just a new moon on steroids, right? Like times 100,000, right? And especially because it's a total solar eclipse. It is highlighting that, yes, but this is marking a time of some major healing. Some major healing is coming in with this one. This new moon or this eclipse is going to be exactly conjunct with Chiron, the wounded healer, which we talked about in Chiron is our deepest wounds, traumas, pains, the things that we're working through in this lifetime that we're carrying. That it's just the hard stuff, the stuff that you don't want to pull up or dredge up or uncover because it's so uncomfortable. It can be so painful. But in the process of doing that and rediscovering that and releasing, right, and working through those pains and traumas and those things, it makes life kind of come together in a way that, you know, you're not even able to like really wrap your mind around. So it's going to mark new beginnings for sure, whether you invite them in or not, because that's just what a solar eclipse does. It brings in the changes, whether you're ready, whether you're not ready. It's just it could be a very dramatic time. It could be very emotional, and especially with Chiron, activating some of those deepest things. People can be triggered right now, and I just say the triggers that are coming in are there to teach you something, to help you heal in certain ways, because once you get that healing, like I said, life just comes together in different ways that you don't see, and it really can benefit you in a really, really positive way. But yes, moving through that healing is uncomfortable. It's painful at times. It hurts to dredge up the memories and the things like that, because you know, it's those wounds and they fester, but it's time to air them out. It's time to heal them. It's time to release them. So this is taking us on a path of self-discovery, new beginnings. We're going to be taking initiative through the healing process here after we've gone, you know, allowed ourselves to let this stuff come up and heal and address them. We're going to be taking our initiative. We're going to be focusing on our independence, our self-reliance, and just going after what we want. And the emphasis is on us, right? Like what you want, not what she wants or he wants, your spouse wants, what your kids want, what your parents want, what your job, like what do you want? And I think the process of healing and all of this coming up to the forefront, while it is hard to deal with, and while these changes can come in swiftly and dramatically and sometimes feel against your will, it is all for you, okay? And it's gonna be a very interesting it's gonna be a very interesting solar eclipse, that's for sure. But it's these wounds that have shaped you that are, you know, very important. So we'll talk more about that in the Aries solar eclipse video. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get the details on that. All right. So next up is April 10th. And on April 10th, we have Mars conjunct Saturn. Now, Mars is our little fire starter. And being that we are in Aries season and Mars rules over Aries energy, you know, Mars is kind of the star of the show in a certain way, right? So with Mars conjunct Saturn, this is giving us a boost, because Mars is our energy, it's our drive, it's our determination, and Mars just sparks whatever it touches, and Saturn is our responsibility, it's our hard work, it's our accomplishment. It is us just really bunkering down and doing the things that we have to do. Hard work, but great rewards with Saturn, right? Saturn energy is not to be feared, it's to be respected. So when these two come together, this gives us a boost or a fire under our behinds to be like, we're so determined in pursuing our goals and getting the things that we need to get done, which is great timing because of the season that we're in and all these new beginnings and these new starts and the things that we're realizing that we want to get off the ground or we have to do or how we have to pivot. So this is helping us like really go after our goals, this energy. So this is great energy for tackling things that you've been procrastinating on again. So use this in conjunction with Mercury retrograde, right? So getting to the unfinished business. The only thing with this conjunction is that it can be, when I say like it could be something that it doesn't take much to like spark the fire of frustration and anger. There's almost like an underlying frustration that could be there with this energy of these two planets coming together, if there are things that are unaddressed or just bothersome. And like I said, it only takes a little spark to kaboom. And so this can lead to some angry outbursts. This can lead to some anger and different things like that. So be mindful of that. So that's on the 10th, okay? All right. The last thing we're going to address, and then we're going to leave everything else for part 2, is the sun moving into Taurus. And that's going to happen on April 19th, okay? Now, with the sun in Taurus, start of Taurus season is very different from Aries season. Taurus is the energy that likes to move a little bit more slower. Aries wants to go, get things off the ground. And I think you definitely need that type of energy when you're starting something. You need that boost. You need to have that energy infusion. But Taurus says, okay, now we've got the ball rolling. Let's slow down. Let's move a little bit more methodically. Let's think about what we're doing and the things that we're getting off the ground and getting the ball rolling on. Like, I want to be steady with it, right? Taurus takes its time. Taurus energy definitely takes its time, right? So this is an emphasis on just advancing things, but in a much more thoughtful way. It's also about self-care. It highlights your values, your worth, your talents, and your resources, and how you put those things to use in order to work for you. So there's just a lot more patience and a stimulation of your senses and taking care of yourself and all of those good things. So, getting into good food, getting into taking really good naps, going on walks, things that stimulate all the 5 senses, like the physical senses, are really favored during Taurus season. So an emphasis on slowing down, taking care of yourself, and just really thinking about your resources, because Taurus is that earth energy. It really is about looking at the things, the tangible things in our life, and how are we using them? How are we, multiplying? Are we being fruitful? Are we, so Taurus season is going to bring us a lot more of that. It is a beautiful time. I love Taurus season. Taurus season is one of my favorite seasons. To be honest, I love Aries season and I love Taurus season just as much. So that is part 1 of our video. We're going to stop there, and then we're going to pick up part 2 of the report, starting with the biggest thing that we are going to deal with this year, which is the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. And I want to give a lot of, time and energy to that. So we will continue there. But I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that this, helps you plan out things between the 1st and the 19th. Again, I'm apologizing for this being a little late, but again, you have it then to not. Leave a comment down below and let me know, is any of this stuff, are you feeling a lot of these energies, especially for those of us who are energy sensitive? And honestly, the people who aren't energy sensitive, I notice, are feeling a lot of things and going through a lot of things, especially with this eclipse energy coming in, and with the last eclipse that we had in Libra. There's just a lot of things unfolding. So just leave, your comments down below on what you're dealing with if you want to share, and I look forward to reading them, and I look forward to seeing you in the very next video. Have a good one. Peace.